Hey, yo, what's the deal, man? It's your boy Tag from Pro Wrestling Tag, you know what I mean? As of this recording, it is 12:36 p.m., April 4th, 2026. You know what I mean? This is the first video of the day. Maybe the first and only video of the day. Maybe, depending how I'm feeling. You know, it's fucking beautiful outside. You know what I mean? It's beautiful like that girl across the street. You know what I mean? From where I'm at right now. You know what I mean? I'm walking by. You know what I mean? I see this banging chick. Like, damn. She has sunglasses and everything. Like, ah, damn. But, you know, last night made me laugh. You know, last night as I'm watching SmackDown and I'm seeing the reactions and everything, you know, a lot of the things that we see basically is just, it's comical to me. It really, really is comical because, you know, I'm like, okay, was Pat McAfee the right move with this whole Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton situation? No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't, right? It really wasn't. You know, and then I'm hearing that, you know, this was a TKO directive, that they wanted Pat McAfee there, you know, and such. It came from Ari Emanuel, and now, you know, Triple H approved it and such, you know, but nobody knows the real story. You know, I'm hearing a lot of bullshit about how, oh, well, you know, Triple H is at fault here, you know, or he was quote unquote being forced and shit like that and blah, 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 right? But who knows? Maybe they both went in it. I mean, maybe they both went in it and such, and, you know, so, and you know, people were just going ape shit about how Pat McAfee was the one who was the person who was the mystery caller for Randy Orton, right? And, you know, and was it, like I said, was it a bad move? It was a bad move. Because I like Pat McAfee. I think Pat McAfee's fucking great. I mean, he's great in the right spots and shit, right? But again, who else was it going to fucking be? Right? And yes, there could have been the obvious choices. Kevin Owens, Shane, The Rock. You know what I mean? Or it could have been Randy himself. But what makes me laugh is some of the other parts of the comments that I read, how, oh, well, this is AEW's chance to take full advantage of what's going on. And so, let me go back. You know, I'm hearing people say, oh, we're done with WWE and, you know, fuck WWE and fuck TKO and such. You motherfuckers are going to be watching again next week. You're going to be watching Monday. You know what I mean? And I'm laughing because, like, really? You're blowing up over one storyline? Really? Come on, man. Come on, suck my dick, you know? But what I'm seeing is how people say, oh, fuck TKO. You know, this is AEW's chance on taking advantage of what's going on with WWE before WrestleMania, blah, 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 blah. But AEW ain't no better. AEW ain't no fucking better. You know what I'm saying? Like, they had chances to take advantage of what's going on, and they fell every time. Every time. So what's going to be different? What's going to be different in this go-around? Huh? What's going to be different? AEW don't give a fuck about you. If anything, I bet you AEW fans would be psyched if this was, you know, if this was Pat McAfee on their program. Like, oh, man, we got Pat McAfee. And then I also hear that, oh, Chris Jericho made the right move not to go back to WWE, but Chris Jericho this has nothing to do with Chris Jericho. This is a completely different situation, right? But again, you think that this is going to give AEW the advantage in this quote unquote war with WWE? Like, you smoking crack. Like, you got to be legit smoking crack. You know, AEW is not going to do shit. They're not going to do a fucking thing. You know, you people can bitch and complain and moan all you want about WWE this, WWE that, fuck WWE, fuck TKO, and everything else, right? You know, I hate this stinking company. And then all of a sudden, I'm hearing people kind of like backtracking off of Brian James all of a sudden. Oh, we owe him an apology. But you accept his apology when he was giving you shit creative way before this one, right? You know, you accept him for that, right? Come on, man. Like, the wrestling fans is a joke, bro. Now, I mean, like, pump your brakes because, like I said, AEW ain't good. AEW ain't no better. They're not getting better. I don't know what fucking planet you think that this is actually going to be, an advantage booster for AEW when their shows are garbage. Every fucking Wednesday, shows are garbage. Is wrestling still right now 2026? Yeah, it is. It is. But it's not because of one bullshit fucking storyline. Like, pump your fucking brakes. Pump your bullshit fucking brakes. Seriously. Seriously. Oh, but suck my dick. Suck my dick. Because, if we're talking about overall in wrestling period this year and last year, like, they're both bad on both ends. But here's my thing. If you don't like either or, just like what other people say, there are other promotions for you guys to watch. You want to watch NXT? Go watch NXT, which I think they're having their stand and deliver pay-per-view tonight, right? If you want to go watch TNA, go watch TNA. There's other programs to watch. There's other fucking programs to watch. Like I said, let me also mention this too, right? Even if this wasn't Triple H's call, right? Triple H is also at fault for a lot of things, right? Triple H is basically the one who's saying, "Oh well, we're in a new era. We're in a new era," and then every fucking era we get is complete bullshit. You know what I mean? So he gets no flack either. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't get any pass either. And like I said, maybe he approved it. He fucking approved it. And if this was Vince would have probably done the exact same thing. The exact same thing. So let's not bullshit. Let's not bullshit. But the sheer notion that AEW is now going to get better because of WWE's bullshit booking is laughable. AEW can't even get their shit straight. They can't. So it does. And here's the other thing too. And I forgot who brought this up. Nothing's going to happen to Triple H. And I'll tell you why. Because if Triple H is doing everything that he's told to do, right? If he's doing everything that he's told to do and they're still making money, then who the fuck said he was going to be ousted? Who said he was going to be fucking ousted? Who the fuck said that he was going to, be released or fired and shit like that? That motherfucker ain't going nowhere. So even if he gives you bad television, even if this motherfucker gives you bullshit and such, the motherfucker ain't going nowhere. Why? Because the company's still making money hand over fist. He don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. Like, and you think AEW give a fuck about you? Like, come on. They don't care. I mean, they got their own fucking problems. They just brought back a guy, 55 years old, who had the worst year creatively in his entire fucking career. And you motherfuckers are happy? You motherfuckers are happy? And then you seen a preview of what happened when he came back on that Wednesday on Dynamite? When he got booed and everything. Not booed, but the reception was like hot and cold. You know what I'm saying? And you want me to sit there and say that this company is better than what WWE is offering? In what aspect? In what fucking aspect? In what motherfucking aspect? I gotta hear this. In what fucking aspect? So it's like a pick your poison situation. It's basically pick your poison. Either they give you this or you get that. Either you get this or get that. Like black sheep, right? You can get with this or you can get with that. You can get with this and you can get with that. Like, come on, man. But the sheer notion that AEW is going to take advantage of what's going on is laughable. And I wish the sicko would come to my comment section and say some bullshit. Because I'll fry your ass like fucking like French fries, bro. I would. I honestly would. Also like, you guys is just as brain dead as that girl who I spoke to, who I made a video of, who I spoke to. That's my homegirl. I'm not going to mention her name out of privacy, but like she, it's funny because like she was telling me about, her problems and shit. And I knew she was going to take it there. She does this all the time, right? But it's laughable because like, she got jumped and she still went back to the motherfucker. Like, come on, man. Light skin girl problems. This is why I don't do light skins, man. This is why I don't do light skins. Anyway, guys, I'm about to be out. Now, I'm gonna definitely holler at y'all. Peace.